Hello everyone, welcome back to Virtual MOSI. Just a reminder, my name is Steven. It's been a little bit since I've been on here. Today we are going to discuss something pretty interesting. We are going to be talking about music. I'm not going to be teaching you how to play music like you may at school or anything like that, like in a music class. But today we are going to be talking about how music is made, why music is possible, sort of how sound works itself. We did discuss sound a little bit before in some of our other videos, and we'll post those later onto the video. But today we're going to go ahead and talk about something right over here. We have some very colorful glasses right over here. So what we're going to do first is we are going to observe what the glasses are. So what I have is a champagne glass right over here. It doesn't have to be this to work right at home. You can use any kind of container. I just happened to find these in our kitchen downstairs, and they're going to work pretty well. You can use mason jars, any glass cups, as well as plastic cups will work as well. But the glass ones make a little bit nicer of a sound. So I'll show you the difference between the glass ones and the plastic ones right down here. But what we're going to do is we're going to, first we need to observe the glass. So the glass is nice and tall, so that's going to make a different sound than if a glass is nice and sort of like shorter and wider. So what first we need to do is see what sound it makes when we first hit the glass without anything inside of it. So we're going to go ahead and hit it. Makes a pretty high sound, right? It's very high, very loud. But what we're going to do now, in order to kind of see, and all the glasses make that exact same sound. I tested it right before. I filled all of them up. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill all of the cups. You want anywhere from around 4 to 6 different glasses. So what I did here is I colored them just to make it a little bit easier for everyone to see the differences in heights of water. So one of them you want almost as full as you possibly can get it without it overflowing. And then all the way down, you want to very, 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 very little in the last glass. So, and throughout it, you want varying levels. What this is going to do is this is going to change the sound the glass makes. So whenever we have listened to music, we know that there are different notes. If you ever played the piano or anything like that, we know each key makes a different sound. So that's what we're doing here. We're creating different sounds in each glass. So what that is doing is we're going to kind of figure out if more or less water inside of these cups are going to make a higher or a lower sound. So I want you guys to tell me if you think that more water is going to make a higher sound or a lower sound, and same for less water is going to make a higher or a lower. Let's see if anyone can tell me which ones you may think it is, and we're going to go through it and test them out. Okay, so the first one I have right here, this red glass, has the water that is almost all the way full. So go ahead and see if we tap right on the side. Kind of sounds a little bit similar like it did before. Okay, so let's go ahead and try the second one. Can you guys tell the difference between those two? There's a slight little difference, and there's only about like 1/4 of an inch difference of water inside. So now let's go through all of them and see if we can tell a difference between those as well. See how those are different as well? Okay, let's try the next one. Blue, green. Now the last one. Okay. So let's see, did we get any comments about anyone telling us if we had anything? Okay, maybe we'll get some as we go on, but let's go ahead and figure that out. So over here, we have, if we have more water, will the sound be higher or lower? Let's see. I think that the sound, if we have more water, is going to be lower, and I'll explain more. While we have less, it will be higher. Okay, so when I say sound, we're going to go a little bit further into that, and we're going to talk about pitch. So pitch is how high the note is measured. So when I go from here, it's a lower sound compared to down here. for that is a higher pitch. Same with keys. The higher we go on a piano, the higher the sound is, the higher the pitch. And then the lower the pitch. Same here. So the more liquid we have, the lower the pitch, the lower the amount of sound. Over here, the higher the sound will be, the higher the pitch. Okay. So I did say that I was going to show you that it doesn't have to be just glasses that you use. Glass does allow it for a little bit louder of a sound, but we can use little tiny, we even have little tiny plastic cups right here. Let's see if they work. You can definitely tell the difference between them. Maybe a little bit even easier than the glass ones. It kind of depends on what sound you are going for. What I want you guys to do is go ahead and try this out at home with things you have in your kitchen. You don't have to color them like I did. I did that just for a little bit more fun. Color's always a little bit more fun. And you also can test out different liquids. I just use plain water out of our sink here at MOSI. You can go ahead and try things, different liquids you have in your kitchen. Maybe something like vinegar or salt water, and see if that makes a difference in the sound. Send some pictures if you try this out at home. I want to see what you do. But next we're going to go ahead and take what we learned and we're going to make some instruments that you can make at your home out of just normal household items. I have a few that are right over here, and we're going to go ahead and learn to make those. They're all really easy to make, and you may have all of these at home. If you don't, if you want some other options of what you may use, write it into the comments and we'll go ahead and answer that for you. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to make I call it a shoebox guitar. You can use tissue boxes. We even just used a normal box and cut a hole in it and covered it and made some cool music notes on it. What you're going to do is you just need a normal box with a nice rectangle cut out of it. Definitely ask for some adults to help you out cutting it if you do need that assistance, because it can be a little tough at times. What you're going to need then is you're going to need anywhere from 4 to 6 rubber bands, but make sure the rubber bands can go across it the long ways. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the rubber bands and just string it through just like a regular guitar. So you're going to do that for all 4 rubber bands. What I like to do is get them all on there first, and then you can adjust it. It's a little bit easier that way, because then you can make sure they're nice and spaced out the same. And if you're having a little bit of trouble with this at home, definitely ask for an adult, because sometimes rubber bands can be a little tricky to pull that tight over. And if your rubber bands happen not to be big enough, try to use a smaller box. You can also go this way, and you'll have more strings. It'll just make a little bit of a lower pitch, just like the red glass that we had earlier made a lower pitch, because there's more strings and a wider open area. But yeah, so you can go ahead and make sure those are all nice and spaced out. Just like a normal guitar, you are going to strum the strings. They're going to make that sound. You can attach something to it and make it a full-on guitar and put on a performance for your family or anyone else you know that will sit down and watch your performance. So the next one is one of my favorite ones. We're going to make something that makes quite a bit of noise. I'm going to show you how loud it is. Sorry if it is loud into the microphone. I know, it makes a great sound. So it's actually really easy to make. So the items we're going to need for this one are going to be 2 wooden sticks, popsicle sticks, anything like that will work. The larger ones also work as well. Just do the same thing. So the next thing we're going to need is a nice thin strip of paper. You want it pretty much the same size as the wooden stick. You can see that right here. Pretty much the same size. Awesome. Next we're going to need is 2 toothpicks. If you don't have toothpicks, I didn't have any toothpicks. I just took some wooden, wooden bamboo skewers and I cut them into little pieces. If you have to do this, definitely ask for some adult help. I had a hard time cutting through them, so definitely don't try that by yourself. And 2 rubber bands. Okay, so what the first step is, we're going to put the piece of paper onto one of the popsicle sticks, just like that. And then we're going to take 2 of the toothpicks or skewers and put them onto one end, just like that. Okay, and we're going to take the other popsicle stick and put it right on the top and make a sandwich in between. Try to keep both of those on there. We're creating like a nice sandwich right there. We're going to take the rubber band and tighten that around, make it nice and tight. What we're doing is we're creating a space between the two popsicle sticks with those skewers, so we're creating a nice space for the air to flow through whenever you blow through it. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. We're going to take the two skewers or two toothpicks, put them in there to create a nice flat space, just like that. See how it looks like a sandwich with some paper in between? And then you're going to take the rubber band and you're going to put it through it. I'm sorry, not through it. You're going to tighten the rubber band around this. If you do need some help with the rubber band, just ask an adult or an older sibling, anything like that, to help you do those rubber bands. You're going to take it and you're just going to blow through it. Fun, right? So what you can do is, if you want to make some different sounds, try out different pieces of paper. I just use normal construction paper. I know that if you have things like tissue paper, cardstock, anything like that, newspaper works very well. It's going to make different sounds because the paper, depending on how thick it is going to create a higher or a lower pitch depending on how thick the paper is. So the thicker the paper, the lower the pitch, and the lighter the paper, the higher the pitch. So I want you guys to try out and see which ones work best. So construction paper is kind of pretty much like right in the middle, so it makes kind of a in between a high and a low pitch. Okay. So the last one, I'm sure you guys have probably done before in school, but I always like doing it. It's really simple. So what we're going to need is some paper plates. If you want some other stuff to decorate it, that is up to you. We had one of our other instructors decorate these for us. I know, fun, right? We got to do some arts and crafts first thing in the morning. A stapler or some tape. Glue will also work, but you're going to have to wait for it to dry, so it's going to be a little bit longer. So what you're going to do is, I have two already made right here. It's just some paper plates stapled together, and I cut this one in half and then folded it over. This one's just right in half. And then I have some beans right here. You can use rice, you can use beads, anything that's going to be nice, hard, and make a lot of noise. So what it does is make a nice loud sound, and while this one makes another sound, but the sounds are going to be different. We're going to discuss the pitches of these in just a minute once we make the last one. So I have two different sizes right there. And then this one over here, I'm just going to get a little more creative with it. I added some more paper onto it because the picture of it is kind of like a sun and clouds. So I'm going to go ahead and make this look more like a sun. Why not have some more fun with it, decorate it. What we're going to do here now is we're going to then pour some beans. You can put the amount of beans whatever your heart desires. I like to put more in there because why not? Then we're going to take our other plate that we have, put it right onto the top, and we are going to staple right around the outside. What we're doing here is we are trapping all of those beans into our plate. If you're using tape, just make sure you tape all the way around on all sides because we don't want any escaping beans running around the ground, as well as rice or beads or anything like that. Just make sure you get everything nice and stuck. So I actually ran out of some staples because I used them earlier, so I'm going to use the rest with tape. See? Sometimes you have to be a little more creative getting everything together. Let me see if anyone can tell me. Go ahead and tell me if you think that the sizes of these are going to make different pitches. We discussed earlier that different amounts of liquids, right, over there with our glasses are going to make different pitches, so different sounds. Do you think that the larger the plate is going to make a higher or a lower pitch? Let's see. Can anyone tell me? Almost done here. Making sure everything is done. Okay. So now we have 3 different ones right here. So just a reminder, this is a full plate. This is a full plate that is, cut in half. And this one is a half of a half, so a fourth. Okay, so let's go through and see the different sounds. Okay, so first we're going to start off with our newest one in here. Makes a nice, very loud sound, right? Okay, let's go ahead and see what this one is. Okay, and now the last one. Okay, so this works the exact same way as the glasses. So the larger, the lower the sound. The smaller, the less is going to have a higher pitch. Okay, just like the glasses. It has to do with how much sound can be created in that area. So we have that right over there. So that is all the activities I have for you guys today. But I do want to see what you guys can do at home. So if you do try any of these out, go ahead and let us know if you notice any different observations, especially if you try the liquid one out with the xylophone over there. And try out different liquids. That's one thing I'm definitely very interested in seeing if that works. As well as if you make any of our kazoos right here, what types of paper may work. Different ones if they make a higher or a lower pitch. Okay, so for tomorrow, we are going to be talking about some more instruments. But what I want you guys to see is, or tell me, what type of instrument do you think is able to be played without touching it? So all of these instruments here that we made today, we have to touch with our hands. There is one instrument that we're going to be talking about tomorrow, and I'm going to show you that can be played without us actually touching it. So go ahead and check in tomorrow if you're curious to see what instrument that is, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.